Today we're going to talk about a critical checkup. A critical checkup. And, when you go to the doctor every year, hopefully they check you over and they evaluate you. Try to find out if there's any problem. If they identify a problem, then they come up with some solutions to try to make you better. And that can save your life. But today I'm going to talk about a little different kind of checkup. And checkup that I'm talking about is a checkup in your home. Checkup in your home. By that I mean checking up in your home. What's above us in our home? Well, we talked about it last week. We talked about that most important device that's in our home, and that's the smoke alarm. And so that's what we're going to talk about. And checking up on that device also could save the life of you and your family. Installing smoke alarms in your home can increase your chance of survival by 50%. 50%, that's huge. And after spending 18 years in the fire service, I've seen the positive effects of having them. We've all seen the tragic effects of not having them. And so it's a big deal. So let's take a closer look at the real problem regarding smoke alarms and the lack thereof. And the problem is that there's too many homes across our country that have a deficiency. And the deficiency is the lack of smoke alarms or the improper placement and maintenance of smoke alarms. And so we got to ask ourselves, why does that exist? Why does the problem exist? And there's two main reasons. One, it's inoperable smoke alarms. Two, it's inadequate public awareness. And that's where it kind of falls on us a little bit, and I'll talk more about that. So in talking about inoperable smoke alarms, believe it or not, in the United States, most homes have at least one smoke alarm, but a shockingly high number of smoke alarms don't work. And according to the Texas State Fire Marshal's Office, in a publication they put out in 2009, only 21% of the homes that experienced a structure fire in 2009 in the state of Texas had a present and operable smoke alarm in it. And so that's a huge deficiency that is the result of two main reasons, and that's batteries and location. And unless the smoke alarm is tied into the home's electrical system, smoke or battery replacement has got to be a consideration. National Fire Protection Association, as you all know, recommends that we change the batteries out in these devices at least once a year. It ensures that we've got a operable smoke alarm at all times, hopefully. But many departments around the country, including ours here in Tyler, have adopted more stringent recommendations, and we're urging citizens to change their batteries out 2 times a year. We spring forward, fall back with our clocks every year, and when we do that, we need to be making the switch. And making the switch, I mean switching out the old batteries, putting new ones in there. But in addition to the battery issues, the improper and negligent placement of the devices also plays a role into the inoperability problem. And so an improperly placed smoke alarm can result in false alarms. And the false alarms are often what causes occupants to either remove the batteries or to take the things down. And that is supported by Consumer Product Safety Commission's finding. I believe they called it the National Smoke Detector Project. And what that indicated was that the primary source of inoperability is actually the result of frustration over nuisance alarm. And then the frustration is what causes people to take the thing down. And then failure to replace the smoke alarm into its rightful place can cause problems with activation, a delay in activation. And so if you've got a smoke detector sitting out on a table or on a shelf because someone's taking it down, obviously it's going to take longer for that thing to go off. So we've identified one of the deficiencies, and that's non-functioning smoke alarms, and there's several reasons why we see that. But let's look deeper into it, and this is where it kind of falls on us as a fire service, and that is that citizens are not reminded enough about the importance of the device. And that creates a lackadaisical mindset. When we're talking about this, the whole out of sight, out of mind mentality certainly pertains to this subject, because if you think about it, an appropriately placed smoke alarm is up above us, like this one right here. And so it's out of sight, out of mind. And unless somebody is constantly reminding us on a regular basis that we need to be checking that thing, we forget about it. And as with many aspects of life, the whole "it's never going to happen to me" mindset is prevalent, especially when you combine that with a lack of basic knowledge about a topic. So that's where we as a fire service have got to get involved to make a difference, the public awareness. So now we've identified the problem, let's talk about some of the remedies or solutions to that problem. So along with a proactive education campaign on our part, actually getting out there and installing the things, putting up the smoke alarms in the right spot can save lives. we can take a greater role in that. Increasing public awareness about the devices has got to occur to improve the statistics. And we're going to do that through developing and maintaining good working relationships with our local media outlets. Their audience is much bigger than ours, so we've got to have them on board if we're going to spread the message. It just makes sense to get them on our team. Implementing a proactive public education campaign on the part of local fire departments is equally important if we're going to realize the life-saving benefits that we need to see. So in addition to a proactive push to convey out the information to the public, communities and fire departments have got to put their words into action and hit the streets with the message and have the devices in hand. Well, that creates another issue, having the devices in hand. That's a funding issue oftentimes for most jurisdictions nowadays. And with dwindling budgets, partnerships have got to be forged to help tackle the issue and get the needed resources. Local businesses need to be invited to participate in the program, and hopefully they'll supply funds to help support it as well. And then local volunteer organizations need to be sought out to help educate, to help acquire, and to help implement the program. And although budgets are tight, local jurisdictions have got to reinstate the needed funds to help get the resources for their communities. So it's going to take everybody to really make a huge impact. So we've identified some achievable solutions to the problem. Let's take it a step further and talk about some of the benefits or positive effects that we're going to see if we implement these ideas. It can certainly be a scary thought to think about a fire, but let's just imagine in your home the occurrence of a fire in the middle of the night while everybody's asleep. Now, don't you want somebody looking out or something looking out for you while you're at rest? Can't you see the tangible benefits, the emotional benefits of having this type of protection? Simple device, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Obviously, the greatest benefit is going to be the protection that it gives you and your family, but additionally, the early realization of a fire often results in earlier notification of the fire department. An earlier notification of the fire department usually gets the fire department there quicker. Getting the fire department there quicker normally reduces property loss, reduces injuries, and saves lives. So it's a win-win situation. So over the past few minutes, I've hopefully brought to your attention some very important and thought-provoking information. And while it's not the most popular subject always to talk about, it's certainly one that's worthy of evaluating. There is indeed a problem nationwide and in our local community with homes that lack the necessary protection that these simple and relatively inexpensive devices give us. And the problem can be corrected if we work together collectively to tackle it and overcome it, and we will save lives for years to come. So we got to begin taking a greater role and responsibility in the challenge of educating our community, and then we've got to expand that effort to actually get involved in doing the installation. We got to get out there and we got to do it. There's not too many opportunities in life that offer an ordinary citizen the chance to save the life of their fellow neighbor, their family member, their friend, community member. This initiative will certainly fulfill that objective. And if just one person is awakened by the sound of a smoke alarm and is afforded a better opportunity to evacuate an emergency situation, then we can all consider our efforts to have been a success.